Hi, John here with the Rio Grande Jewelry Tech Team. There's a few things to consider whenever you're selecting sterling silver wire for your next project, and that's what we're here to talk about. So let's get started. The dimensions of wire are referenced to in several different ways, and this depends on its shape. Round, square, and some half-round wire are referenced by gauge, while other wire styles are not. Now, gauge is a little counterintuitive because the higher the gauge, the thinner the wire. For example, this 16 gauge is much thinner than this 0 gauge. Half-round wire is only at gauge in one dimension. The other dimension is half of that. For example, a 16 gauge half-round wire will only be about 22 gauges in height. This is something to consider when choosing half-round wire. If you normally use 16 gauge round wire to make a ring shank, you would want to use 10 gauge half-round for the same strength. The dimensions of triangle wire and low dome wire are referenced by a size, and it is not the same thing as gauge. However, it does work similar, being that the bigger the size, the smaller the wire is. Rectangle wire, patterned wire, and other shaped wires are referenced by their width and thickness. The gauge you select will often be determined by the end use of the item you are making. For rings and bracelets, you would want to choose a thicker gauge to hold up to the wear and tear which those forms of jewelry are subjected to. I personally recommend 18 gauge and thicker for those items. For rings, I don't like to go much thicker than 12 gauge or 2 millimeters in thickness. Beyond that, it becomes uncomfortable between the fingers. For earrings, pendants, and other forms of jewelry, your design will dictate what dimension of wire to use. Thinner wire looks more delicate, while thicker wire looks more substantial. There are commonly used minimum gauges for almost every type of product in the jewelry industry. The Jewelry Tech Team has created a chart to help you select a gauge for your next project. You can find this chart under Charts on the bottom of this product page, or in the Resource Center by searching Recommended Metal Gauges. These are only suggestions, but they are a good starting point. Another thing to consider is hardness. Sterling wire comes in different hardnesses like dead soft, half hard, and hard. And this is a changeable state of the metal by work hardening, soldering, or annealing. However, you can return the metal to a hardened state by heat hardening. For more information on heat hardening, search heat hardening in our Resource Center. If your designs require intricate forming, dead soft would also be a good choice. It is easier to form and it would work harden during the process. If your designs require minimal forming, or if you are making structural components like ear wires or head pins, half hard or hard would be the best choice. Knowing what you are making and what you want it to look like when it is finished will help you decide on the gauge and the hardness you need to purchase. And that is sterling silver wire in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please contact us.